Hey guys, my name's Keon Hushmand, and today we're going to be checking out Bias Effects 2 and how to get a modern metal or djenty kind of tone out of it. Now, the last time we did something like this was with Bias Amp 2, and now this time it should be a bit more streamlined given that we can't really change any of the amp settings such as preamps and tubes and stuff like that. This time around we're going to use a 7-string tune to drop a flat just to see how well Positive Grid can handle the low tunings. The guitar we're going to be using is a Jackson Misha Mansour HT7 and it's just got the bare knuckle juggernauts in it, hit shot hardware, stuff like that. Just to change it up from last time as well, this time around we're going to be doing it completely within the plugin. We won't be using any external impulse responses or other plugins before the chain. Everything will be purely in Bias Effects 2. The key to any good djent tone is a good gate at the beginning of it, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to chuck a gate at the beginning of the chain. Threshold you can kind of set accordingly. Sensitivity I put all the way off, and same as quick release, so it ends up sounding something like this. So you can kind of get that staccato-y kind of riff going on. I might even turn it up just a little bit more. Much better. This is only the demo version of Bias Effects 2, so you can just download this from Positive Grid's website and you won't be limited to anything I'm showing you today. Everything that I'm showing you is within the demo version. So next onto the chain is the drive, and this is generally the kind of consensus with a lot of modern metal tones. You turn the drive all the way off because there's enough drive from the amp. Tone is kind of personal preference, and it kind of depends on your guitar as well. This guitar is already pretty spanky as it is, so I kind of just turn it up a little bit, because if you do it too much, it gets way too stringy and overkill. Which is kind of why I like to roll it off around about there. And level, I push it pretty hard. I go around like a 9.2 area. If you roll off the level, it kind of dies out a little bit. The whole point of having the overdrive before it hits the amp head is just to kind of cut out any of that low frequency wub that's happening, especially on a 7-string, and kind of really tightens up and defines the high end in the tone a little bit more, so it just brings it to life a bit. Since I can't save this and upload it because it's just the demo version, if you want to try this yourself, it's best to start off using the Orange Crush preset, which is just an insane, and what I've done is just pick that because I thought it sounded the most like what I wanted it to end up being anyway, and then just kind of tweaked it to my ears. So the amp head that we're going to be picking this time is the Switch Axe Lead, which I haven't seen in Bias Effects 1 or Bias Amp 1 or 2, so I'm fairly sure it's new unless they've just renamed it or something. As for the settings on this amp, gain is kind of just in the middle somewhere, same as bass, because you don't want to overpower it or take too much away. Mids I like to crank a little bit just because it's kind of that modern metal tone. You want to push the mid-range of your guitar so it cuts through the mix. Treble I don't really push too far because it can get really harsh if you really overdo it, so I only push it around like 1 or 2 o'clock. Presence, if you push it all the way, it gets really, really stringy and abrasive. Kind of sucks the low end out of your tone as well, so I kind of just like to keep it around like the 3.5, 4.5 area. And Master just kept it dead in the middle, not touching that. This time I've just gone for the green 25s in the cab. I haven't gone for anything fancy, or I haven't picked any of the Celestian stuff that they got in the plugin as well. Just the green 25s, which is pretty much stock on most of the presets anyway, I'm pretty sure. Close back, and I've put an SM57 just on the edge there, but I haven't pushed it all the way up. The reason why I've pulled the 57 back just a tiny bit from the cab is so that the cab has enough time to actually push the air or whatever you're playing into it into the microphone, as opposed to being right in front of it, so it kind of just cuts out that low end flub. If I push it all the way up, it kind of gets really woofy, but if you bring it back just a little bit, it still retains that low end, but it gets rid of that woof. The next and final step within the tone is the EQ. Now I've done 2 because they both offer different frequency ranges between them. So the first one I've pushed up 8K just a little bit just to bring out that high end And in the second one, I've cut just a little bit of 400 and pushed a little bit of 800. So that's around 1.5 to 2 dB between each. It kind of depends what guitar you have, but just to give you a comparison of what it would sound like without the EQ. So here's with both the EQ off. So that kind of sounds just a little bit more thicker, but kind of dull as well. So if you push up to 8K in the first EQ, it kind of brings the high end up. Already you can tell that's a bit more in your face, a bit more piercing, but not too much that it hurts your ears. Just kind of brings out the high end. And the second one, just cut out a bit of 400 so it gets a bit of that low mid woof out, that really honky frequency, and then push it to 800 up just so it kind of blends in with the bass when you put it in the mix. You gotta be really careful with the 400 and 800, because if you overdo it on both ends or just on either end, it really colors your tone and it can be really unpleasant. So you just kind of have to play around the settings a little bit and kind of get it to what you like. So yeah, that's pretty much it. A very, very simple chain, and it's all within the demo version of Bias Effects 2. So to my ears, it sounds pretty cool. So you should definitely check it out, download it off Positive Group's website, try it out. And if you like it, you can even buy it and get all the different amp heads and the cabs and all the pedals and stuff like that. But yeah, as far as a djent or modern metal tone goes, this is pretty much as simple and as effective as it gets. So hopefully you guys take this video and kind of mold your own tone off the similar basis. I can't upload this preset because it's just the demo version of Bias Effects 2, but all the settings have been on screen so you can just copy it all yourselves. As always, if you like this video, hit like, and if you want to see more stuff like this, hit subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want to get notified, because I will be doing a lot more of this stuff as well as covers and all that. Quick shameless plug, I have an Instagram at KeonHushmanLive. If you guys want to check that out, I'll do way more frequent posting on there, and it's just kind of like a behind the scenes of what I'm doing. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Ciao.